Welcome to the State Highway 6 virtual public meeting, which has been pre-recorded for the proposed project in Brazos County, Texas. The proposed project extends along State Highway 6, also known as Earl Rudder Freeway, from State Highway 21 to State Highway 40, also known as William D. Fitch Parkway. Thank you for joining us. My name is Juan Quiroz, and I serve as the District Planning Engineer for the Bryan District of the Texas Department of Transportation, better known as TxDOT. This pre-recorded virtual public meeting presented by TxDOT is provided to share information and to encourage comments from the public on this project. This virtual presentation is available online at our TxDOT website, www.txdot.gov. To reach the virtual public meeting webpage, just type SH6 Central BCS in the keyword search box.
Given the unique circumstance of the COVID-19 outbreak, along with our commitment to protecting public health during this national emergency, TxDOT is conducting this virtual public meeting to avoid in-person contact. At this time, the virtual format will be in lieu of an in-person public meeting. The presentation will cover the same information the Bryan District would have shared at the in-person public meeting. However, the comment process for this virtual public meeting will be different from what we normally conduct at an in-person meeting and will be explained shortly. This presentation will provide a full description of the proposed State Highway 6 Central BCS expansion project, including Phase 1 and Phase 2 improvements, the anticipated project timeline, the environmental process, the TxDOT right-of-way process, and how to share your input on this project. To skip ahead to a specific section, drag the progress bar on your video player to the corresponding slide shown in the right column of this table. This project extends along State Highway 6, also known as Earl Rudder Freeway, for 11.5 miles from State Highway 21 in Bryan to William D. Fitch Parkway and College Station, Brazos County. This project will be constructed in two phases. Phase 1 includes improvements to the main lanes and frontage roads, shown in the map in dark blue. Phase 2 includes upgrades to major intersections, shown here in light blue. The preliminary estimated construction cost is approximately $269 million. The proposed project shown in this presentation is the ultimate configuration. The scope of the project included in Phase 1 and Phase 2 construction may be adjusted pending the final estimated construction cost and available funds. The proposed project addresses the following needs: anticipated growth in population and traffic volumes, increased congestion and safety concerns along the State Highway 6 main lanes and major intersections, additional bridge clearance needed to meet truck traffic requirements, and limited bicycle and pedestrian accommodations. The purpose of the proposed project is to enhance safety, reduce congestion, and improve mobility, which will be accomplished by improving the operational efficiency of major intersections, adding capacity to the main lanes of State Highway 6, providing adequate bridge clearance for truck traffic, and providing pedestrian and bicycle accommodations where needed along the corridor. The public involvement process provides opportunities for property owners, roadway users, the public, and other stakeholders to engage with the project team. This project began in mid-2018 with data collection, analysis of the existing roadway, forecasting of future needs, and environmental evaluations. In December 2019, the first public meeting was held to present the needs and purpose of the project, including the proposed base build improvements and phased construction approach, as well as obtain public input. Since public meeting number 1, TxDOT has continued to refine the schematic design based on technical analysis and public involvement. This public meeting will present the updated base build improvements, including proposed intersection improvements, as well as how to provide public input, which will be described later in the presentation. In December 2019, TxDOT heard from many community members at the first public meeting. The greatest amount of participation was received through our online forum. We received thousands of comments and feedback through the online MetroQuest survey and mapping tool, and heard from community members in person at the open house. From the MetroQuest survey, the most frequent comments received were heavy daily and rush hour congestion, safety concerns with ramps and merging, improvements needed along the frontage roads, improvements needed at intersections and bridges, and the need for walking or biking accommodations along the corridor. The identified needs were evaluated and solutions were incorporated into the project design. State Highway 6 currently has 2 main lanes in each direction and 2-lane frontage roads in each direction. Throughout the corridor, existing auxiliary lanes between ramps facilitate smooth lane changes and merging, but not all auxiliary lanes are continuous. A total of 12 intersections of various configurations exist within the project limits. At present, only limited pedestrian and bicycle accommodations are available along the corridor. In addition to congestion, a significant number of crashes have occurred along the State Highway 6 corridor. Almost 1,700 crashes and 9 fatalities were recorded along the roadway in just 4 years, from 2014 to 2018. About half of these crashes occurred on the main lanes, and the leading contributing factor was failure to control speed. Studies also indicate that 53% of traffic along the roadway travels less than 2 miles per trip, which means that more than half of the trips within the project limits are for local travel. The proposed project would be constructed in 2 phases. Phase 1 would be constructed within the existing right-of-way and includes widening the main lanes, frontage road improvements, providing continuous auxiliary lanes between ramps to improve merge conditions, and constructing new collector-distributor lanes at selected locations. Phase 2 includes improvements at major intersections to increase the operational efficiency of traffic flow and construction of shared-use paths for bicycles and pedestrians where needed along the corridor. Right-of-way acquisition will be required to construct Phase 2. The design schematic, which illustrates the proposed improvements presented in this virtual public meeting, is available for viewing and download at the TxDOT website, www.txdot.gov. Just type SH6 Central BCS in the keyword search box. Phase 1 improvements primarily include widening the main lanes from 2 lanes to 3 lanes in each direction and improving the frontage roads. In addition, continuous auxiliary lanes and collector-distributor lanes would be constructed at selected locations to improve traffic flow along the State Highway 6 corridor. Each of these features will be presented in the following slides. Continuous auxiliary lanes would be constructed between entrance and exit ramps along the State Highway 6 corridor. If not already continuous, the existing auxiliary lanes would be reconfigured to be continuous. The resulting longer auxiliary lanes would improve merge conditions for drivers to safely transition from the frontage roads to the main lanes or vice versa. Similarly, continuous auxiliary lanes would also be constructed along the frontage roads to further improve merge conditions. Phase 1 improvements also include the construction of collector-distributor lanes from Harvey Mitchell Parkway to Rock Prairie Road on the State Highway 6 corridor. This slide illustrates, in plan view, a generalized configuration of the proposed collector-distributor lanes, which would be built on a separate roadbed between the freeway main lanes and frontage roads. Their primary purpose is to eliminate traffic weaving on the main lanes and reduce the number of entrance and exit points along the main lanes, while also satisfying the demand for access to and from the freeway main lanes. This system allows through traffic to proceed along the main lanes unimpeded by local traffic and provides local traffic the ability to bypass major intersections without having to enter the freeway main lanes or stay on the frontage roads. As previously mentioned, Phase 1 includes the construction of the proposed collector-distributor lanes from Harvey Mitchell Parkway to Rock Prairie Road, as well as the Texas Avenue and State Highway 6 interchange. This slide provides the schematic layout illustrating the reconfiguration of the interchange. The southbound and northbound collector-distributor lanes, shown here in yellow, from Harvey Mitchell Parkway to Rock Prairie Road would provide local access to destinations east and west of State Highway 6. The through traffic along the freeway main lanes, shown here in peach color, will proceed unimpeded by local traffic over this approximately 1.5-mile section, and northbound traffic wanting to enter Texas Avenue will no longer utilize a left exit from the main lanes. Instead, traffic will be routed through the new collector-distributor lanes just south of Rock Prairie Road. This new interchange configuration optimizes traffic flow, improves mobility, and enhances safety. The remaining intersections will be constructed in Phase 2, as presented in the subsequent slides. Shared use paths at selected locations would be constructed along the State Highway 6 corridor in Phase 2 construction. The shared use paths would generally be located along the frontage roads with a buffer to provide separation from vehicular traffic. In addition, pedestrian and bicycle accommodations would be provided at all intersections and tied into the shared use path along the frontage road. The complete network of pedestrian and bicycle facilities can be viewed in the design schematic for the project at the TxDOT website. As previously mentioned, the improvements at the Texas Avenue and State Highway 6 interchange will be constructed in Phase 1. Phase 2 construction would include improvements at major intersections along the State Highway 6 corridor. The primary objective of the intersection improvements is to improve their operational efficiency by addressing congestion and safety, as well as providing bicycle and pedestrian accommodations. Each intersection will be discussed in more detail on the following slides. It is noted that Phase 2 construction would begin prior to the completion of Phase 1. The construction sequence of the Phase 2 intersection improvements would be established during preparation of the detailed construction plans for the project, and efficiently sequenced with Phase 1 construction. This slide presents the proposed improvements at the State Highway 21 intersection. At this intersection, the existing bridge, shown here in red, will be reconfigured, effectively restriped, to provide an additional southbound left turn lane. The northbound frontage road, shown in green, approaching the intersection will be widened to include additional turn lanes, improving traffic flow. State Highway 21, east of State Highway 6, will be widened to provide a dedicated southbound right turn lane, including raised medians, shown in orange, to enhance safety and improve traffic flow in the vicinity of the intersection, and U-turn bridges will be constructed so that U-turning traffic will bypass the intersection, improving its operation. This slide presents the proposed improvements at the William J. Bryan Parkway intersection. At this intersection, the existing bridge will be widened, shown here in red, to provide additional east and westbound through lanes. U-turn bridges will be constructed so that U-turning traffic will bypass the intersection, improving its operation. The northbound and southbound frontage roads, shown in green, approaching the intersection will be widened to include additional turn lanes, improving traffic flow. And William J. Bryan Parkway on both sides of State Highway 6 will be widened to provide additional through lanes and turn lanes at the intersection, including raised medians, shown in orange, to enhance safety and improve traffic flow in the vicinity of the intersection. This slide presents the proposed improvements at the Briarcrest Drive intersection. At this intersection, the existing bridge will be fully replaced and widened, shown here in red, to provide additional east and westbound through lanes and turn lanes. U-turn bridges will be constructed so that U-turning traffic will bypass the intersection, improving its operation. The northbound and southbound frontage roads, shown in green, approaching the intersection will be widened to include additional turn lanes, improving traffic flow. And Briarcrest Drive, on both sides of State Highway 6, will be widened to provide additional through lanes and turn lanes at the intersection, including raised medians, shown in orange, to enhance safety and improve traffic flow in the vicinity of the intersection. A diverging diamond interchange design was developed for the University Drive intersection. A diverging diamond interchange, or DDI, was chosen because it can more efficiently handle the high traffic volumes expected at this location, as compared to a traditional intersection. In addition, a DDI enhances the safety of the intersection because it effectively eliminates the need for left-turning vehicles to cross paths of approaching vehicles by directing traffic to the opposite side of the road across the interchange. This traffic shift also allows through traffic to proceed simultaneously through the intersection. From a traffic signal phasing perspective, green time will be increased, allowing traffic to move more efficiently through the intersection. The proposed DDI at University Drive also includes northbound and southbound bypass lanes that provides local traffic the ability to bypass under the DDI intersections without having to enter the freeway main lanes. The bypass lanes are positioned in a manner to optimize existing infrastructure and maintain access to the adjacent properties near the intersection. Pedestrian and bicycle accommodations will also be provided at this interchange. This slide presents the proposed improvements at the Harvey Road intersection. Please note, the main lane bridge along State Highway 6 will be constructed in Phase 1. At this intersection, the underpass area, shown here in green, along State Highway 30 will be widened to provide additional east and westbound through lanes and turn lanes. U-turn lanes will be relocated so that U-turning traffic will continue to bypass the intersection, improving its operation. The northbound and southbound frontage roads, shown in green, approaching the intersection will be widened to include additional turn lanes, improving traffic flow. State Highway 30 on both sides of State Highway 6 will be widened to provide additional through lanes and turn lanes at the intersection, including raised medians, shown in orange, to enhance safety and improve traffic flow in the vicinity of the intersection, and a roundabout will be constructed at Associates Avenue, east of State Highway 6. This roundabout will provide a U-turn location for westbound traffic leaving the Windwood community. A displaced left interchange design was developed for the William D. Fitch Parkway intersection. A displaced left intersection addresses the expected traffic volumes by separating the high volume of left-turning northbound traffic at this intersection, thereby improving overall operational efficiency. At this intersection, the displaced left for eastbound traffic will be initiated on State Highway 40 as it approaches State Highway 6 from the west. The underpass area along State Highway 40 will be reconfigured to accommodate the displaced left lanes and maintain the east and westbound through lanes and westbound left turn lane. U-turn lanes will remain in place such that U-turning traffic will continue to bypass the intersection, improving its operation, and the northbound frontage road approaching the intersection will be reconfigured to improve lane assignments. The activities for the proposed project following this virtual public meeting include obtaining environmental clearance for the entire project limits, developing the detailed Phase 1 construction plans, and coordination for utility relocation along the corridor. In 2023, TxDOT expects to start Phase 1 construction, which would take approximately 2 to 3 years to complete. The activities after the start of Phase 1 construction include development of detailed Phase 2 construction plans, Phase 2 right-of-way acquisition, and continued coordination for utility relocation along the corridor. In 2025, TxDOT expects to start Phase 2 construction, which could take 2 to 3 years to complete. Prior to December 16, 2014, the Federal Highway Administration, otherwise known as FHWA, reviewed and approved documents prepared under the National Environmental Policy Act, known as NEPA. However, on December 16, 2014, the Texas Department of Transportation assumed responsibility from the FHWA for reviewing and approving certain assigned NEPA environmental documents. This Memorandum of Understanding was renewed on December 9, 2019. This review and approval process applies to this proposed project. Environmental constraints were gathered from readily available data sources to evaluate potential constraints along the project corridor. Environmental constraints within the study area include some of the resources listed on this slide. Detailed environmental studies are ongoing for the proposed project and will be documented in accordance with NEPA guidelines for a project of this type. If you have questions about the environmental process, please reach out to the team using the project staff contact information included at the end of this presentation. The project would, subject to final design considerations, require 1.7 acres of additional right-of-way and potentially require minimal displacements. This slide illustrates TxDOT's right-of-way process. We are currently in the second step of the process, identified as public meetings and public hearings. Information is available on the TxDOT website outlining property owners' rights, the right-of-way process, and the help provided by the department in relocating tenants and property owners. These can be found on the project webpage or additionally at the web address noted on the slide. If you have any questions during the right-of-way process, please contact Bryan District Right-of-Way Specialist Melissa Sevilla at 979-778-9607. TxDOT is interested in hearing any feedback you might have on the information presented about this project. We understand this virtual public meeting format is a bit different, so let's take a few minutes and explain the comment process, which is the most important part of this video. Given our current COVID-19 situation, the Bryan District is asking the public to provide their comments in the following ways. Email your comments to sh6centralbcs@txdot.gov. Mail comments to TxDOT Bryan District, attention SH6 Central BCS Project, 2591 North Earl Rudder Freeway, Bryan, Texas 77803-5190, and submit the online comment form found on the TxDOT project webpage at www.txdot.gov. Type SH6 Central BCS in the keyword search box. While comments are always welcome, they must be received on or before Thursday, May 27, 2021, to be included in the official meeting documentation. The public may call project staff at 979-778-2165 during regular office hours or email project staff at any time in the project development process. Thank you for participating in the virtual public meeting.